many years I know you, but definitely, the young man is a great man. He had been CTO, CEO, CMO, and I'm very proudly telling you that as CMO in California, he got several awards, and he will keep on getting awards in the future. He's my student also, so naturally I will say good luck to him for the future. He will talk about 6G will unlock the power of AI for everything. Looking forward to hearing you, Mahbul. Make very interesting talk, but don't go very long.
Oh, okay. Thank you,
Okay,
Professor
no
Prasad.
problem. You have time.
Okay, thank you, Professor Prasad, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. I hope you all can hear me, right?
We can hear you. If I
Okay,
can hear you, we can hear.
okay, great. So, and thank you, Sudhir, for teeing up the discussion. It was very insightful, and all the previous speakers. So, definitely that helps in building where I'm going. So, today I'm going to talk about the 6G and how it will unlock the power of AI for everything. Now, to go into the future of 6G and AI, we need to understand what is the current states. And so, in each one of the cases, I will look at what is 5G and what are the challenges, some of the gaps that is left. As Sudhir talked about, even an uneven number of generations, where uneven are fulfilled by the even number. So, what are some of the gaps that are left in 5G, and what is 6G planning to do? But also, very important, something people may not, and I think people will find it very insightful, and people who are staying up late in India also will find it very interesting, is what is the state of AI today? And since we are building a network application, everything based on cognitive intelligence built in, where do we go from there? So that's where, so, and then I will bring it all together. So let's then dive into the 5G. So good thing is that everybody talked about the 5G, so I don't need to say very much. But nevertheless, I'm just gonna say that 5G is the beginning of connectivity technology for massive IoT and as well as cellular V2X. So obviously that is an improvement, and now for the this is the beginning of a generation where we are giving prioritization to industries and IoT devices in addition to what mobile broadband has done for us. So, but there are still many challenges left, and the challenges in creating, how do you create a trustworthy? We have been talking about data is the new oil, or data is everything. So, how do you create a trustworthy, intelligent, self healing so that the network recovers by itself, manages itself, provides the right assurance, right quality, right reliability for beyond 5G, and also for and it will span multidisciplinaries, and the way to address these challenges of providing trustworthy, intelligent, and self-healing is actually requires standardization, it requires regulation, it involves politics, ethics, and also has a techno-economic interest. But there are current there are a couple of things that are there. There is a lack of trust, privacy, security persists even today in 5G. The 5G targets to support diverse vertical applications for Industry 4.0 by connecting heterogeneous devices, machines, and also trying to improve high quality, and also trying to improve by providing higher quality of service, increased capacity. And you all know we have been talking about all this reliable, low latency. All those good things are there. But despite all the advantages that 5G is bringing, there are still major challenges to be addressed, including, very important, is guaranteed industrial grade quality of service for service level agreement. Can industries, can manufacturing, can self-driving cars or unmanned aerial vehicles, can they depend on a wireless technology that is reliable, deterministic, and guarantees 100%? So that is still 5G won't address to the level of reliability that we need, which requires seven nines. Also, Does it have the ability to have massive, secure connectivity in the future systems? Because I'm sure in the day during the day you have seen the projections of what the number of devices that will be connected. So that is huge. Then we also have to deal with peer-to-peer transactions. Someone brought up blockchain, but also all as well. But anything around distributed ledger technology for peer-to-peer transaction and peer-to-peer financial settlements, these are all business-related technology. I know we've been talking a lot about access technology and core technology, but I think what you will see is what is needed is how does this technology help in doing your business using those wireless technology as the foundation. So it must be capable of enabling this kind of capability. Decentralized of network ownership. So we talked about a little bit. It's not necessary that the network has to be built by the operator itself. If I like my area and I want to cover this my part of the city or my part of the shopping mall, I can actually own the infrastructure and then have a leasing agreement with multiple operator where they use my infrastructure and pay for me, and they have their spectrum. So there is all those different business model will come, and it won't be only up to the operators, cellular operators, so to speak, to build out the network. The community will do it, and it will be a business model for everybody. Also, in addition, we also have to bring transparency in the data, confidentiality, integrity, trustless access control. Because when you disfranchise the entitlement of infrastructure, then you got to have a way to do trustless access control. Is it auditability? Is required network privacy, network resilience, security, vulnerability, all those sort of things that is required that are still a gap in the 5G. And so these are some of the things I just quickly touched upon that I still see that there are gaps. And in order to deliver a trustworthy deterministic network for with guaranteed QoS across distributed network that is secure and provide data privacy, we need to have a technology that we are hoping that 6G is going to address. Again, 6G is in the definition form. Why are we talking about 6G right now? If you look back, how long time it took between 2G standardization to 3G standardization and commercialization, and from 3G commercialization to 4G commercialization, and 4G to 5G, you will see that the pace of innovation has increased and the time has decreased. So the last one, 4G, was commercialized in 2010, and now 5G is in 2020. I can assure you that it won't be 10 years because the pace of innovation is increasing so much. So we can expect the 6G to come much earlier than 2030. It might be as early as 2027, 2028. And we are seeing that across all different technology because of all the innovations that is happening in parallel. It's not on that 6G will be able to take benefits of. So with that, why don't we look at what is 6G? And before we go that, just one last word about 5G. The value creation, the value that 5G is expected to create in the next decade, in the next 10 years, is about $8 trillion. And that is in terms of generating new revenue or how it will help reduce the cost or create new services. But if you look at this picture, this is a vision from Samsung. And if you look at that picture a little bit, you see a lot of, if you zoom in, you see a lot of AR, VR, mixed reality, peer-to-peer communication, and these are all cognitives. These are all intelligent, and a lot of body network as well. Probably you don't see that, but this is all part of the 6G. So 6G is going to be a transformative technology, and a lot of things that was left unfulfilled in the 5G because of rushing, that will be covered in 6G. That's why I am also a believer that 6G will not take as long as the 5G has happened. But obviously we expect mobile holograms, we expect immersive mixed reality, we expect digital twin to take it to the next level, where basically you have digital replica, where you will not only have the twin, but you will be able to also have the hologram, and you will be able to walk and look into what part of the car is not right, or what part of the aviation is not right, virtually. So it's going to change how we do maintenance, how we visualize in a 3D space by combining this sort of capability of the 6G. Now, uh, what is interesting is Sudhir already showed this part, which was also from Samsung, the capability. What really excites me about this graph, beside obviously every generation improves, but look at the left hand side of this. These are some of the key areas that industry and manufacturing and autonomous system requires. Reliability, first and foremost, reliability. Look at the drastic improvement of the reliability that we are expecting in 5G. It makes a big deal whether you have five nines, 99.999% reliability, or seven nines. So that's a huge thing. Second is the latency, going into nanoseconds, or micro milliseconds, hundreds of nanoseconds is a big deal, for especially when you have a control system that is needed for safety. Safety is an area that 5G or wireless technology is trying to get into with 5G, but still has not come to that level, that where you can actually provide the same level of safety that a wired network with can provide. So that's a very important. So I would say the latency and the reliability is very important, and then marry that with the sustainable data rate and the peak data rate is just a amazing cocktail. But this is only looking from the lens from whatever has been the way we have been looking at the previous standards, generation technologies. I mean, if you had the 4G technology, you would have looked at this way. If you had 3G, you would have also looked in the same lens. But something different is about 6G, and that is because of the impact of the AI. And this is very simple. In the way we look at it, if you look at the application at the top, 6G is all mainly or mostly, I would say, driven by a lot of different types of AI. Whether it is in a mixed reality application with AI, whether it is a connected robotics or autonomous system, or even wireless brain computer interactions. Combine that with some of the distributed ledger technology. Oops. Okay. My apologies for that. It seems like my uh, presentation crashed. Uh, Let me just pull it up.
He's finished.
Hold on. Can you see my? Can you
No,
see my?
see on yeah, now
Yeah,
we
now
can. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, my PowerPoint slide just crashed. Or I should blame Steve. Okay. So if we look at 6G, I'm just going into 6G. Just like, remember the 3G, we used to say all IP networks. That was the start of all IP networks. 6G is going to be all AI empowered networks. And AI is going to play across local AI, joint AI, and end-to-end AI. Already on this local area, you already have the Open RAN alliances. They are trying to usher in the efficient RAN, make the RAN radio access network more efficient by leveraging the AI technology. But what you're going to see is a comprehensive AI that goes all the way from the application to the mobile device. And with the capability of having a multi-layer multi-access mobile edge computing, you can expect the application, the core network, and the radio network to collapse and be at the closest to the mobile devices, and thereby you can have native support for a comprehensive AI system to realize more efficient, more reliable uh, communication, which is built in with cognitive intelligence. So if you look at the business model, someone talked about the business model. I think it's going to be driven by cognitive self-healing applications are going to be developed that will sit over there. There will be a lot of marketplace that will allow a lot of catalogs. People will be able to choose, select. There won't be a concept of going to the operator. You will decide as a business entity the type of network slicing you want, with the quality, SLA, all those sort of things that you want. It will configure based using distributed ledger technology to assure the financial settlements are happening, but as well as it will also provide 6G will provide cognitive management, which will be for service level agreement. So it will have the predictive analytics capability to understand whether a network or resources are depleting in something. It will proactively go and reserve the resources, if not within the same operator or with some other operators, and use the distributed ledger technology as a way to do the financial settlements and brokering. So you will see a lot of cognitive management, whether it's for slice orchestration or network broker or leasing ledger, or most important is SLA management. Second, you will see the multi-access, multi-layer, multi-access mobile edge computing. It will collapse the application, the core network, the radio access network with AI enabled. So this is what a 6G network would look like. I know it's a very congested, but this is a three-dimensional view, and we need to stop looking from the spider chart that I showed you before, which is 7-dimensional, only speed, feeds, and latency. We need to look at business, and we need to see how it enables businesses. What do business people need to run an autonomous system, and the services. So then now I will transition into the AI, and I think this is probably for many people an aha, the next few slides, because I'm going to now talk about the state of AI today across research, across talent, across industry, as well as politics, and then bring it all together. So if you look at the market size for global market size for AI, it is growing at 30% CAGR and it's forecasted also for the next 5 years. So it's going to grow to about $60 billion by 2025. But the total value creation, which is generating new revenue, reducing the cost because AI helps to optimize and bring efficiency and also create new services, is going to contribute $13 trillion. Now, if you think that 5G was a arms race across the country, what do you think is a $13 trillion going to do? This is the holy grail of all the nations. This is where their major focus is, and 6G is going to rely on this. So and I will bring it all together. What does it mean for us? But to take a look at what's happening across the industry, I'm just going to take one snapshot back into just bringing you back into this industry that we have. And most of you are familiar with Industry 1.0, which is around mechanization. 100 years later came electrification, that was Industry 2.0. 100 years later came automation. So first three industrial revolutions were 100 years apart. But the fourth industrial revolution, which was only 40 years, why is that? That is because a lot of technologies, whether IoT, AI, connectivity, all came together. The cost of computation went down. So we have the cyber physical system. But and the whole notion was to automate and drive the productivity up, and also reduce the human involvement. But what you're going to see is that people are now going to more and more customized. They want customized products. So you will be able to design, or you will be able to draw something and probably send it over, and you want that to be built. So, or you will design your own shoes, and it won't be a design that is given by the company that you what all the tools. You will be able to have that. So massive customization, and that's where human creativity will come. We need human to be more creative and not do mundane tasks that a machine can do. So that is the start of the industry revolution 5.0, which will be a human machine convergence, and where, as I wrote here, smartphone and application will give away to technologies that will live on our bodies, with visual assistant, with giving directions in our ears as to the things that we need about, where is the next restaurant to have a nice meal. So lot of technologies that will be embedded within our body, and this may be the beginning of an end of smartphones. I think the days of the smartphones are probably, the way we know it is probably another 8 to 10 years at least, in the early adapters, because we will see a lot of body area communication where it will be a human machine convergence. So with that, now I will just spend the next few slides to talk about the state of AI, and I think this will be a eye opener for some people, because we need to look at, okay, what about the AI resources? Uh, there are, as everybody knows, there is shortage of data scientists. So we need to look at what is the current state, and if it is today this state, what are we doing to ensure that AI, which is needed in every industry, from retail to manufacturing to defense and also for 6G. So where are they all going to come? Um, so we look at resources, we look at the talents, we look at what's happening in the industry, and look at the politics. So if you look at the research side, this is very interesting. Out of all the publications that we have seen so far, the what it might not be, I mean, it may not surprise you that the AI publications, they don't publish their code. Only 15% of the paper publish the code. What is even worse, only 35% of the paper even mention the framework they use. Think about how secretive it is. So that is, and then if you look at this chart and you look at what is in the GitHub, all the code on the AI code, what you see is the deep red is PyTorch, owned by Facebook. The orange is TensorFlow, owned by Google. So you have these big companies. They have their code, and the way they have done is they have intertwined their code with their infrastructure, because they're interested in selling their cloud platform or using their platform. So those codes are tied, optimized for their own platform, and that's the way they are monetizing. So this is the state of the industry with when it comes to AI research. So they have centralized AI talent, and computing is a huge problem. And then you have the quantum computing. The Google you must have seen over recently that they have announced that their quantum computer can compute something in 200 milliseconds. That the world's most powerful classical supercomputer will take 10,000 years. So these big companies are dominating this AI space and computing space. So then you will say, okay, what is happening to all these professors and all the talents? So let's look at the state of the talent. And this is probably good news or bad news, depending. Professors who are on AI. If you look at it, there are only a handful of professors that are in AI. 41 professors in the United States, 41 of the professors left in 2018 and joined private tech industries because they can make tons of money. It is not uncommon for a good AI scientist or data scientist, AI engineer to make close to $1 million. It is not uncommon. So when you lose those AI professors, the marquee AI professor, you also see a reduction in graduate entrepreneurship. What is even worse, if you look at a university in the Netherlands called Eindhoven University of Technology, they have earmarked 100 million euro over the next 5 years to create a new institute that will focus on smart algorithms for machines, for like robotics and autonomous vehicles. This is the level of investment a university has to make in order to become relevant. And then you have also universities in the oil-rich countries like Abu Dhabi, in United Arab Emirates, opening up the world first AI university, and the number of applicants and the top notch people all over the world is going over there. This is this is a honeypot for people with professor degree, students, everybody. If you look at the number of students who are graduating, draw attention a little bit over here. What's happening? People who are getting PhD degrees, if with the foreign nationals, 54% because of the U.S. visa regulations and so on, they end up going in and want to make money. They end up going into a large private sector like Google's and Facebook's, Apple's of the world, and there is very little entrepreneurship from them. Whereas if you have the US citizens, you see a little bit more entrepreneurship. And the 10%, so 90% of the PhDs in US in AI stays within US, and the 10% that leaves US is distributed by UK and China, literally. So this is, if this, we are betting so much on AI, and the intellectual property is really heavily dominated by this large industry. This is something to be of great concern, because the patents and all those sort of things that we are going to put in 6G and as well as in other areas have to compete for that. So next, let's look at the AI industry. This is a very interesting. I think about 15 years back, maybe roughly 15 years back, Google had this were the first one to say mobile first concept. So this was the time when they said, whatever application, whatever we do, we will not test it on the desktop. We will test it on the mobile. We need to make it mobile friendly, and then we'll see. What we are beginning to see is AI first mentality. Already started here, and this is led by the drug company. Thanks to the AI technology, has played a significant and instrumental role in the therapeutics and also for the vaccine for COVID-19. And even FDA doesn't know how to certify medical devices, because AI system continues to learn. How do you certify a device? Because all these certification systems that we used to have is what I call a noun, means it is what it is. But AI system is machine learning, continues to learn, continues to evolve, continues to become better. Even FDA needs to learn how to certify a device, medical devices that has that capability. We are also beginning to see, here you see the autonomous vehicles, and you see the number of miles they are driving without driverless driving. And we are seeing that from what used to be the reinforcement learning, they are moving into imitation learning, which is literally the reverse of reinforcement learning. We'll go into that. But the key thing to know about the AI thing, the mainstream AI, is that we have now machine learning ops, just like DevOps, which is a signal to the industry that that we are the AI in some areas, especially in more of the mainstream verticals, whether it's around predictive models, whether it's about lead score generation, whether it's about telemarketing, intelligent telemarketing, whether it is around fault detection or vibration analytics. AI has matured from the model making to more into operations, and that's why you have the machine learning ops. That is a signal of now we need to know how to have a life cycle management of AI, because the machine drifts, machine changes, so you need to have AI life cycle management. So that is great. And then you also have you see early adoptions are definitely generating additional revenue for marketing and sales. They're also leveraging those AI technologies. So industry, and I didn't even go into all the other chatbots and all the other robotic process automation and everything, but it's really across the board. Everybody is grabbing it. So this is a very, very important area. Let's look at the politics, because I think this is a very important area to look at this. Obviously there are a lot of ethical risks that are there with facial recognition. We know a lot of stories about it, but funny enough that 50% of the world still allows facial recognitions. Even here, in the United States, the law enforcement uses facial recognition, and as you know from other, it has bias because it was developed and ImageNet and so on disproportionately have images of a certain demographic or certain ethnicities. So other person of colors are typically not as prevalent. So there's more mistakes. So police are making more mistake by using facial recognition. State like Washington State are saying, okay, you can only law enforcement can only use that if they have a warrant. So still regulation has to come. They're still catching up. Then you have a problem of deepfake. So how to deal with deepfake? I mean, it doesn't take. I mean, if you look at the U.S. Election, it didn't even take deepfake. You can do a simple photo editing and show that someone is burning ballot or whatever, and people are convinced. People are just looking for something. So deepfake is too good to be true. Just simple editing is already confusing people and creating a chaos in the country. So what kind of policies do we put in place? Plus, there is a huge interest of shifting in the military. It's not only for US but across the world, from having foot soldiers to more of AI based warfare. So there is a huge pull for the AI resources and the politics and the industry that goes with it. And my worry is the 6G and AI and the number of patents that belongs to a certain area, and the professors moving into this area has is a concern for the industry. So I will conclude by bringing the 6G and AI together. So 6G standards, in my opinion, will commercialize by early 2028 because of the pace of innovation is increasing. AI will be a force multiplier for 6G. AI is an arm race, and that is inevitable. It is the biggest one. It is not 5G, it is artificial intelligence. AI talent will remain scarce, and I think every nation, every university, everyone has to think about how to have um, a, um, a national or really a task force to figure out how they improve the AI resources and what's the way to retain those people from within the company. Large platform companies will dominate the 6G patterns because they're coming from AI, and I think US in that way, in one way, is probably in a great position to have lot of the advantage, but it will be with couple of large corporations, and that is also not a good thing. And last but not least, that AI legal ethical dilemma will need to be addressed. That's a serious thing. So with that, I want to conclude my talk. Thank you, and Professor Prasad, I appreciate the opportunity to speak at this event. Thanks.
Wonderful talk. The way you presented it is more than my expectation, so I must appreciate it. This is a chance for asking the last question for today. Anyone who wants to ask question to Mahbubul, but only one question.
Wow, the bar is high.
Yeah, there is challenge of AI. Just ask question AI and get a business.
Can I ask one question, Ramji, to Mahbub? Yeah? Mahbub. Yeah. So, hi, Mahbub. This is Seshaya. We know each other. Nice for your excellent talk. So, my question was, it was so informative. But as we go towards miniaturization, as you and other colleagues have been expressing all today, the small you're saying AI is now dominated by few big behemoths, yeah. So, but these distributed and also resource constrained AI seems to be still an open area where small companies can innovate, where very small gateways or small devices can run a distributed AI. I think this is something which doesn't need to go back to a cloud or a big engine where the AI has to run. So, do you think there is any scope or hope for small companies to innovate in the constrained AI on very thin devices?
You absolutely. So I hope I did not discourage people. Your question is so valid. People who will, if the sensors are going to be in the body, if you're going to wear a glass, you cannot have a high computation power on there, or have a long battery. So one way the industry, of course, in 6G they will address some, it's called split computing. So obviously some computation will happen on your lightweight device with a lightweight computation, and the rest will happen in the multi-layer mobile access edge computing. At the same time, smart algorithm that doesn't require, because you are absolutely right, those big companies are trying to make sure those heavy duty algorithms are tied to their computing system so that they run on Google Cloud Platform. They're combined together, so there is definitely innovation to be done in a similar way. Your question is in a similar way. Think about all the things that has happened in the cloud computing and look at what a new innovative way or possibilities are there in edge computing. And very soon from the edge computing, you will get into mist computing, right? So, and then into a leaf computing. I don't know, leaf and then mist probably, right? I'm just
Yes,
giving
yes, yeah.
giving the analogy. So I think there is a room for that, and that is the angle one has to take if you want to enter this area. And second, I would say that uh, when they are trying to get all this uh, uh, patterns and these algorithms, what also you need to think about solving solutions. So you need to also have to do a custom models for specific industries, and in their operating zone they operate in a different way. So you need to have those things, and then also the life cycle management. AI life cycle management is another area that needs to be addressed. Explainable AI with a life cycle management, because the data drifts, behavior, operating condition drifts, and how do you make sure that the system knows how to adapt with it? It's just like when you buy a car, it's very new, but after as time progresses, your behavior and things start changing. You cannot have your models not be as adaptive to that. Otherwise, you will be asking every now and then, stop the car, let me get a new model. So there are still innovation, but you need to think exactly the direction you thought about. In that direction, how do you differentiate from the big guys? But if you're doing in the back end, in the 6G, with a high computing power in the cloud RAN and cloud core, yeah, then you have a challenge over there.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, so Mahbub, thanks a lot. And now this is the end of the first day. Tomorrow we'll meet again at 9 o'clock. I request everyone to come and attend. They even come here, maybe AI cloud. But tomorrow we will meet 9 o'clock. We have the keynote sessions in the morning, 3 top keynote speakers, followed by invited talks and other speakers. And it will go up to 6 o'clock again tomorrow also, maybe 6:30. Thanks a lot to all the speakers. And this session has been really wonderful. It started with a Walter Kunover, then Spore, Sudhir, lastly but not least is Mahbubul. Really, it was a great session. Thanks a lot. Thanks the audience. At least I was expecting number to go down less than 30, but still about 33 people are attending the event. Thanks a lot. Okay. Have a nice evening in Europe. Nice day in California. There are many Californians here. And wonderful time of the rest of the people.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. Okay. Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good day, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Simona.
Yeah.